So business as usual for Cox. A great offensive performance and didn't need to be all that the Pacers or that the Scots had offensively. As head coach Claude Shields sits down with us to talk about this up and down marathon of a game. And Coach, I said earlier in the broadcast, I came in at about halftime of the women's game, and you know, from that point on, I saw about 5 periods of just very, very tense, crazy basketball. And although I thought this was going to be a good game, I didn't quite think we were going to match it to this point. You guys, unfortunately, losing at the buzzer. I got to ask, though, so first half, you guys came out kind of flat with the long wait. Tip started about an hour past the regularly scheduled time. Did that have an effect? Did that kind of lull your guys into a dreary state coming onto the floor?
It definitely played a part, but what we talked about right before we came out was that, you know, Covenant had to do the same thing, and I think most things are harder on the road. So I would imagine that's not the easiest thing for them to do, is to have to wait around just like we did. So when both teams have to do it, shouldn't have been too much of an ordeal. I just think we might have had a little too much of a hangover from the Averett game. It took us a while to wake up, and you can't spot teams 15 points, especially in the second half, so that really hurt us.
And so that's the thing. I think, game in and game out, that's been the issue with you guys is that it's been tough to pull the guys together to play a complete game, a full 2 halves of basketball, because this second half was perhaps the most exciting half of the season so far from my vantage point. And the guys played great. It was very competitive. Unfortunately, like I said down on that last possession, I think Nate did everything he needed to do. Portlock was just very cognizant of the time and very aware offensively to know that he had to go away from the defender. What's going to be the focus moving forward to get these guys to play a complete game and start winning some tough conference games?
That's the goal for us, that we've shown it in spurts. Once we got down 15, we, I guess, won the rest of the game by 13 and, even got ahead by 5. So that was a really, really big run. And I think we were just 1 or 2 defensive stops. Going back to Jalen's dunk, I think that put us up 5. And then the thing that bothers me about that play is, as great as the play was, we had nobody got back. We celebrated a little bit too much, and then we gave a guy 2 free throws, so that it negated the big play for us. And so we're really, really close. I firmly believe that. Hopefully we can figure it out. In the next couple games, we have a heck of a team coming in tomorrow in Maryville. I'm not sure if they beat Wesleyan or not tonight, but it's just really hard. I thought we did a good job in the first half of forcing shots that we wanted. And they made some really tough shots. They're a good team. And then the second half, at least in that first 8 or so minutes when we got down, they got a lot of stuff at the rim. We couldn't keep their guards in front of us, which is, we've got to prepare better for that. Obviously, they just drove it down our throats. So it's frustrating as a coach when you're so close and you can feel it, and you know that we have not once yet this year played 40 minutes of the way we want to play. I thought our first half, if you remember back to Randolph-Macon, we played great against it in that first half, then stunk it up in the second half. And then I thought against Averett, both first 10-minute segments, I thought we played great. And it started with our defense. And tonight our defense is a little bit lacking. So we've got to put it together. If we can figure it out, I think we're a really, really deadly team. But we've got to, you can't keep saying it. You got to go do it.
And so you mentioned that first stretch in the second half, and I got to say that's as heated as I've seen you get. Is that mainly what was going on there? Just kind of a lackadaisical defense over on the perimeter? Yeah,
I like to think of myself as a calm coach, but everyone tells me differently, so maybe I'm not. But I think that what really bothers me, I don't yell at officials, or I try not to. I try to be very encouraging with our guys, but when you kind of have you know what's going to happen. You hope it doesn't happen, and then when you try to prepare them for that, and then it still happens, you get a little frustrated. And so I thought we didn't handle some calls right. And when you complain, I think it's one of the most selfish things you can do as a basketball player. And then communication, we knew exactly what they were going to do, and we weren't able to stop it. So I've got to prepare them a little bit better. But yeah, I got frustrated. We want to stay positive with them because we do. That's just what I think is the right thing to do as a coach. But when you see that potential and you're close to that potential but you can't reach it, that's the frustrating part.
So I want to finish up here with 2 questions. One maybe a little more hard-hitting, and then something to lighten it up at the end. A big issue coming into this game for you guys is free throw shooting. Shooting under 65% on the season, 52 and change on the game today, 10 of 19 from the stripe. Those are points that could make huge differences in these games. Has that been a pretty big point of emphasis?
It had. Free throws are a tough thing to talk about. It's they're free. I am a coach. I love getting up and down in practice. I think that's a huge factor. I don't even really like going over our plays that we run, which we had to do a little bit more to execute them a little bit better. But, we've spent some more time shooting free throws, and we've talked about it. We have them go up there. We got this from Coach McKillop at Davidson where we say automatic. That's what you say in your head every time you step up there. And so, you got to be when you're a good shooter, you know that if you miss one, Steph Curry misses one, he blasts it off and goes to the next one. I think we let stuff linger a little bit too long. But, on the road or at home, we make some of those free throws. I think it's the same. Greensboro, we missed a good amount. Even Averett, we did. And so if we make free throws, if we're able to make those, I think, who knows what our record could be in conference.
Yeah.
So you got to find a way to make them. It's one of those things that you don't really want to talk about, but guys need to come in and get shots up.
Right.
Because we're still not shooting it well as a team. And I think guys have got to, if you want the season to go the way we want it to go, then you got to come in and do that extra work outside of practice and double down on what we're trying to do.
Speaking of extra work, I'll finish with talking about Jalen. And I know they didn't get down the floor, and it led to a couple of free throws. But has he been doing extra, calf raises or something? Did you know he had that in him?
He did. He had a dunk like that at North Carolina Wesleyan last year. That was a little. It was like one of the. It's a lofty comparison, but Jordan used to have that little hesitation on the sideline where he'd fake like he's going back out and then attack the rim, and he had one of those. And he uses that move quite a bit, but he definitely has that in him. It's been really good to see. That's one huge positive about the last two games is I think he's finally gotten his offense back a little bit, which is so key. Those driving lanes that when we have those shooters out there, he's able to attack, which is huge. So that was a great play for us. Perhaps made it a little more frustrating that got up 5 and weren't able to finish the job. But we preach getting to the 4-minute mark and then trying to finish. We've gotten the 4-minute mark in every game. I think we were either up 1 or down 1 with 4 minutes to go tonight, and we just weren't able to finish. So hopefully we can find a way to correct that.
Cool. What's the outlook going into tomorrow?
Maryville's tough. They're really probably the best offensive team we will see in conference play. Have a lot of guys who can really shoot it. They lost actually to an injury. It was 2 years ago. He was the conference player of the year, Jamani Bird. Played last year, was a really good player. He's out, and it's kind of like they're stepping up in his absence, and so it's a really fun team to watch. We've got the scouting report prepared and hopefully ready to go for tomorrow. So, like I told the team, they don't put on the win-loss column who you lost to and who you beat. Every single one of them counts the same. So it doesn't matter that you beat the preseason #1 ranked team. A home game matters just as much, and it matters just as much Maryville tomorrow. So we've got to put this behind us and get out and attack tomorrow, and hopefully try to play 40 minutes of how we want to play.
Good deal. All right. Well, Coach, we got a short break. We'll see you tomorrow, and thanks for sitting down with us.
All right. Thanks, Aaron.
So Coach Claude Shields of your William Peace University Pacers following a heartbreaking 79-77 loss here at